गौर हरि बोल। जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम श्रीपाद परमहंस परिचयाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद अभयचरण अरविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु मह्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Welcome to today morning's Bhagavatam class. We are discussing on the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj from Canto 4, Chapter 12. And today we are discussing verse 8. Let's recite the verse. Maitreya Vacha Saraja Rajena Varaya Chodito Dhruvo Mahabhagavato Mahamati Haro Savarve Chalitam Smritim Yaya Taratyayatnena Duratyayam Tama. Maitreya Vacha Saraja Rajena Varaya Chodito Dhruvo Mahabhagavato Mahamati Haro Savarve Chalitam Smritam Yaya Taratyayatnena Duratyayam Tama. Maitreya Uvacha Saraja Rajena Varaya Chodito Dhruvo Mahabhagavato Mahamati Haro Savarve Chalitam Smritam Yaya Taratyayatnena Duratyayam Tama. Prabhuji. Maitreya Vacha Saraja Rajena Varaya Chodito Dhruvo Mahabhagavato Mahamati Haro Savarve Chalitam Smritim Yaya Taratyayatnena Duratyayam Tama. Maitreya Vacha Saraja Rajena Varaya Chodito ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महात्मते हरौ सवर्वे चलितं स्मृतिं यया तरत्ययत्नेन दुरत्ययं तमा स राजराजेन वराय चोदितो ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामते हरौ सवर्वे चलितं स्मृतिं यया तरत्ययत्नेन दुरत्ययं तमाः। माताजी। मैत्रेय उवाच सराय राजेन वराय चोदितो ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामते हरौ सवर्वे चलितं स्मृतिं यया तरत्ययत्नेन दुरत्ययं तमाः। मैत्रेय उवाच राजेन वराय चोदितो ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामते हरौ सवर्वे चलितं स्मृतिं यया तरत्ययत्नेन दुरत्ययं तमाः। Synonyms, let's repeat. Maitreya Uvacha, the great sage Maitreya said, Saha, he, Raja Rajena, the king of the kings, Kuvera, Varaya, for a benediction, Choditaha, being asked, Dhruvaha, Dhruva Maharaj, Mahabhagavataha, a first-class pure devotee, Mahamatihi, most intelligent or thoughtful, Harav, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Saha, he, Vavre, asked, Achalitam, unflinching, Smritim, remembrance, Yaya, by which Tarati crosses over, Ayatnena, without difficulty, Duratyayam, unsurpassable, Tamaha, nascence. Translation. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksha Raja, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaja, the most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have an unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus a person can cross over the ocean of nations very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross. Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. According to the opinion of expert followers of Vedic rites, there are different types of benedictions in terms of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. These four principles are known as Chaturvargas. Of all the Chaturvargas, the benediction of liberation is considered to be the highest in this material world. To be enabled to cross over material nations is known as the highest Purushartha, or benediction for the human being. But Dhruva Maharaja wanted a benediction which surpasses even the highest Purushartha, liberation. He wanted the benediction that he might constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord. This stage of life is called Panchama Purushartha. When a devotee comes to the platform of Panchama Purushartha, simply engaging in the devotional service to the Lord, the fourth Purushartha, liberation, becomes very insignificant in his eyes. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has stated in this connection that for a devotee, liberation is a hellish condition of life. As for sense gratification, which is available in the heavenly planets, the devotee considers it to be a will o' the wisp, having no value in life. Yogis endeavor to control the senses, but for the devotee, controlling the senses is no difficulty at all. The senses are compared to serpents. But for the devotee, the serpent's poisonous teeth are broken. Thus, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has analyzed all kinds of benedictions available in this world, and he has clearly declared that for a pure devotee, they are all of no significance. Dhruva Maharaja was also a Mahabhagavata, or a first-class pure devotee, and his intelligence was very great, Mahamatihi. Unless one is very intelligent, one cannot take to devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Naturally, anyone who is a first-class devotee must be a first-class intelligent person, and therefore not interested in any kind of benediction within the material world. Dhruva Maharaja was offered a benediction by the king of the kings, Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, whose only business is to supply immense riches to persons within this material world. He is described as the king of the kings because unless one is blessed by Kuvera, one cannot become a king. The king of kings personally offered Dhruva Maharaja any amount of riches, but he declined to accept them. Therefore, he is described here as the Mahamati, very thoughtful or highly intellectual. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Let me read the translation once again. And the great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksharaja, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaja, the most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus a person can cross over the ocean of nations very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross. So, before beginning to speak, I would like to take blessings of all the Asmala Vaishnavas here, so that I will be able to serve Srimad Bhagavatam through thoughts, words and deeds. So there are a couple of points, interesting points that's like discussed in this particular verse in the purport. Before beginning, let's have a quick recap of what has happened. in this canto, in the previous chapters. So Dhruva Maharaja is the son of King Uttanapada, who is the son of Swayambhuva Manu, and he had two wives. The first wife is Suniti and the second wife is Suruchi. And being very much attached to his second wife, Maharaj Uttanapada neglected to even take care of his first wife, which is Suniti, and then she was staying with the sages. And he had two sons, one son with each wife, and the son of Suniti is Dhruva Maharaja, and son of Suruchi is Uttama. So in one fine day, Dhruva Maharaja visited his father in his assembly, where he was seated in a throne along with his co-wife, the Suruchi, and he saw that his stepbrother Uttama is sitting on the lap of his father. And looking at him, his younger brother sitting there in the lap of his father, he also wanted to have the affection from his father. So he approached him and tried to climb. At the time, he was chastised by in a very spiritual way. Sometimes we use philosophy to twist things. Similarly, here, Mother Suruchi, oh, you are not qualified to sit in the lap of your father. If at all, if you want that position, then you have to go to the forest, worship the Supreme Lord, and then you have to get a benediction so that you can take birth from my womb. So being insulted in front of the assembly of the king and in front of everyone else, and being a son of a Kshatriya, he had that natural tendency to Kshatriyas are known for their anger. So they get very easily angry because of their passionate nature. So although being a small boy and being a son of a Kshatriya, he became so angry, and then he left that place. And being a child, he couldn't do anything at that point of time, so he went and took shelter of his mother. And then his mother, knowing the situation, understanding the situation, she wanted to pacify her son, and she immediately gave her 3 instructions. Do not desire anything bad for your stepmother. That's the first instruction she gave. And then the second instruction is understand that whatever suffering you are going through is because of our own past deeds. So we should not blame others for the sufferings or miseries that which we are going through in our life. And then the third instruction is, if at all you want to attain anything, any desire that you want to be fulfilled, you should follow the instruction of your stepmother. So that's what Mother Surti says. So you should go to the forest and worship Vishnu. And then Dhruva Maharaj, taking the instruction of his mother, he goes to the forest, and as an innocent child, he goes and asks, and he doesn't know, he knows, his mother told, sages are searching him in the forest, so you can also go and find him there. And then Dhruva Maharaj goes there, and he goes and looks at a tree and asks, are you Vishnu? And then, likewise, he's going and trying to search out different things, sees different animals. Do you know? Can you tell me where can I find Vishnu? Like that, he was trying to find Vishnu so that he can fulfill his desires. Being compassionate, Lord Vishnu on Dhruva, Lord Vishnu inspires Narada Muni to go and meet Dhruva Maharaja. And then Narada Muni comes, and he comes and says, so you are so little young boy, and there are so many ferocious animals living here, and this is not a place for a young child. What are you doing here? And then he says, I got insulted by my stepmother, so but I had developed this desire that I was just aspiring for the lap of my father. Now I was rejected, but now I am aspiring for a even more superior position. That is even more superior than the position of my great grandfather, which is his the great grandfather of Dhruva Maharaja is Lord Brahma himself. So he wanted a position that is even more exalted than the position of Brahma himself. And then Narada Muni says, just wanted to see whether he is very serious or not. And then he says, so you are a small young boy, and it is natural that you should not take this chastisement seriously. So you should forget it and you should go back. And then once you grow up, and then you can, once you are matured, then if you still have the same feeling, then you can come back, and then you can do tapasya. This is not the right age, like that he says. But Dhruva Maharaja was like, he says, he practically disrespects the instruction of Narada Muni. So if at all, if you can help me, then help me. Otherwise, please don't disturb me. And then Narada Muni was so pleased because of his seeing his determination to meet Lord Vishnu. So he gives him the instruction. So you go to Madhuvan, and then he gives him the process of worship of Vishnu there, and then he gives him the mantra. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You chant this mantra, and then the worship the Supreme Lord, following the process, and then eventually you will be able to meet Vishnu. So as soon as he received the second instruction from Narada Muni, he goes to the he strictly follows to the instruction, goes and performs tapasya, and then we can see step by step he was increasing his standard of tapasya also. Like he starts with, in the first month, like he started with just few fruits, like kapita fruits, fruits for the monkeys actually, it is said. So once every 3 days, and then he starts, after 1 month he increases his standard further, and then reduces his bodily needs, and he started taking dry grass once every 6 days. And then in this way, like he performed tapasya, he made the form of the Supreme Lord, he was doing his meditation all along. And then again, the 3rd month, he further reduces, he drank only water once every 9 days. And then the 4th month comes, he still increases his standard, and then reduces his bodily needs of by stopping even drinking water. He was substituting on breathing alone once every 12 days. And then the 5th month he completely stopped taking anything, like even his breathing also. And then he completely transcendently situated in his meditation, keeping Supreme Lord in his heart. And because of his purity of his heart, the Supreme Lord himself manifested in his heart. And since it out of his because the Lord himself manifested, the earth couldn't tolerate the weight, so he was weighing as much as good as the Supreme Lord himself, because he was carrying him in his heart. And then the understanding the situation, being very pleased by the activities of Dhruva Maharaja, by following the instruction of spiritual master, Lord Vishnu himself appears. And that time also, the Supreme Lord asks, what boon do you want? So like at the time, like initially, that his intention was to get a position that is greater than his grandfather, the great grandfather, right? At the time he asked, my dear Lord, I wanted to achieve some land so that I can rule and a position that is much more greater than my grandfather. But now I have attained you. I can say nothing is more valuable than you, and I don't want any benediction from you, like that. Similarly, here also, fast forward here. Now he is standing in front of Kuvera. So Kuvera is called as the treasurer of the demigods. In India, if you go to some restaurants or shops, we can see in the reception they keep a small deity of Kuvera, so that they can get enough wealth through their business. So he's one of the most commonly worshipped deities by business people. So interesting thing here is like people do perform lot of good activities in order to accumulate wealth. Here, if you roll back a little bit before, he Dhruva Maharaja actually went and massacred the whole family members of um, Kuvera. And technically speaking, if someone comes and does any harm to our family members, what would we do? We consider them as enemy. But here, Kuvera, being equipped with the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and he says, you are not the killer, it's the time. And the Supreme Lord, who is ultimately the cause of the birth and death of all the living entities. So I don't consider you as the one who killed all of my clans, like army from the Alagapuri. So that's where the war actually happened. So I don't consider you as my killer. So like that, Kuvera says. On contrary, you are such an exalted devotee. So you can ask whatever benediction you want. We can say this is the nature of demigods also. Like when Lord Ram he fought against Ravana and then he killed him. At the time, like Indra himself comes down and he pays his respects, and then he glorifies Lord Ram and says, "Oh my Lord, he has been causing so much atrocities for us, and he had stolen even the Pushpaka Vimana of Lord Kuvera also. Likewise, like Ravana had caused so much atrocities, and so you have mercifully appeared in the human form and killed him. So thank you." And then after that, what he says, since you have seen us, your vision should not go in vain. So please ask for a benediction. So the Supreme Lord is called as Varada, who is the bestower of all the benediction. But here, since Lord Ram is playing the part of a human being, like the demigods also like treat him like in one sense to gel along with the pastime of the Supreme Lord. So Indra says like, my Lord, you can ask a benediction from me. And then the Lord Ram asks, so these monkeys, they have fought for my sake. So and most of them died in the battle. So I want you to bring them alive back. And then, although it is very difficult to do, I will still do it. Like that, Indra says. And then we can, in Bhagavatam, there is one other pastime where the demigods want to learn the Mrita Sanjeevani mantra from the guru of the demons, so Shukracharya. Yeah. So they sent the son of Brahaspati to learn the mantra, and then in that way, like the son of Brahaspati goes there and then gets the benediction. In that way, they have that mantra as well to revive anyone who has already passed away. So similarly, like in that way, like Indra brings back all the dead warriors, dead monkeys from the battlefield in Lanka. So similarly, like here, we can see like Kuvera being a demigod, and he is called as king of the kings because he is the treasurer, like finance minister of the demigods. So he comes and he says, so since you have seen me and like you have came here to my abode, can ask for a benediction that you want. Generally, if you see like demigods, they are the representative of the Supreme Lord in terms of the universal administrative affairs. In order to manage the different departments of the universe, like universal government, the demigods are appointed as authorities. So in order to like for example, like let's say if we have in our government we have the water department, like the electricity department, and similarly we have Lord Varuna for water department, and then the electricity we have Surya and Chandra, Likewise, we have finance department. Here, like Kuvera is also was taking care of the finance department of the universal government, and they are get very used to get give benedictions to the people to the people who are living in the lower planetary system. But here, Kuvera, being a devotee, he already knows that he is not an ordinary person. He has already met the Supreme Lord. So still, out of etiquette, he asks, so you can ask me any benediction, ask from me any benediction if you haven't. And what Dhruva Maharaj is called as Mahamati. He's the most intelligent and thoughtful, which means it is mentioned like in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajna Sankirtana Prayer Yachantihi Sumedasaha. Until and unless one is super intelligent, one cannot take to this process of Krishna consciousness. And being a liberated soul, because he has already received the benediction that he has nothing to achieve in this material world, because he has already received the boon from the Supreme Lord that you will become the king of the Dhruva planet. So which is much more, which is a spiritual world within this material world. So practically a Vaikuntha within this material world. So he has already become the king of Vaikuntha within this material world. So he practically doesn't need any material benediction. In general, people want like benedictions like Dharma, Artha and Kama, Moksha. So there are different types of dharmas, and among all the dharmas, like worshipping the Supreme Lord is the topmost dharma. So he knows, Dhruva Maharaja knows that there is no other better dharma than worshipping the Supreme Lord. And then Artha, in terms of Artha, what is the biggest Artha? Like the topmost planet himself, he has become the king of the topmost planet. What other Artha does he need? He doesn't need anything else more than that. And then Kama, like he himself is a king of the whole world at the point of time, and every opulence is at his disposal already. So there is no other like material desire that he needs to be fulfilled. Generally, if we see, like the karmis, they are like controllership. They look for like proprietorship. So they want to accumulate more property. So they want to own the property. So karmis, they go for proprietorship. And then the jnanis, they go for enjoyership. So I want to like I want to become a great learned person so that I can gain the fame. I want to learn this. I want to become a great poet. I want to become a great, greatly intelligent person. So they go for enjoyership. And the yogis, they go for controllership. They want to attain different siddhis. But devotees, what do they want to achieve? They want to achieve servitorship. And Dhruva Maharaja, being a pure devotee of the Lord, he thinks through. I have been serving the Supreme Lord for the past, right since I met him. But in the past few days, I have been engaging in the war, forgetting him. And my devotional services blocked, like stopped, because of my forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. So he says, and I don't want to go through that same, commit the same mistake again. And he thinks that if Kuvera is also a devotee of the Lord, and if I displease him, then my further devotional service will be blocked. So in that way, he thinks that okay, I don't want to commit the same mistake again. I don't want to like forget the Supreme Lord even for a moment. So he asked for this benediction from Kuvera that please, if at all you want to give me a benediction, give me a benediction that unflinching faith and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that he will continuously engage in devotional service. So that is what that is the benediction he asks from the Supreme Lord. there are a couple of other like we can see the similar trait. Like Prabhupada says, like desiring to become Krishna consciousness is actually desirelessness. So if you see like the impersonalists, they say that if you want to become liberated, then you should have no desires. So as devotees, what is our understanding of desirelessness? It means no desire for material enjoyment. That is our definition of desirelessness. So desiring to serve Krishna, desiring to preach his message, desiring to like visit his temple, worship him, desiring to clean his temple, cook for him, all these desires are actually desirelessness, because we are not desiring anything for ourselves, but we are trying to like please Krishna, and we are desiring for the pleasure of Krishna, not for our pleasure of our own sense enjoyment. And we can see the similar trait across all the devotees. Like if we come across the pastime of Prahlad Maharaja, when Narsingadeva appeared and then he killed Hiranyakashipu, and then Prahlad Maharaj came and pacified him on the instruction of the Lord Brahma, and then being pleased with the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, Narsingadeva asks him, so you can ask any benediction you want from me. And then Narsingadeva, when to the surprise of Narsingadeva, I don't, my dear Lord, I don't want any benediction. If at all you want to give me a benediction, just give me a benediction, so that if at all I have any desire to enjoy this material life, take away that desire from my heart, so that I can constantly engage in remembrance. In fact, he says, Twadvirya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chittaha. I am already like happily situated by meditating on your pastimes, like glorious transcendental pastimes. So I don't want any benediction. And then he says, like, my only concern is those people who are suffering in this material world, seeking after temporary illusory pleasure. So I have only concern for these people. So I want to stay back here and preach and deliver them. So that was his desire. Similarly, like if we come across the prayers of Kunti Maharani, so she says like Janma Iswarya Sutta Shribir Edamana Madapuman Naivarhati Abhidatum Vai Tom Akinchana Gocharam. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached only by those who are materially exhausted. So until unless someone who is materially engrossed, who has material desires, they won't be able to approach Krishna. So, and then again she asks, if at all you want me to give a benediction, she says, we have gone through so much suffering in this life, and whenever we went through some suffering, we were always taking shelter of you, and we never forgot you during those times. But now we have got this kingdom, and now we have won the war, and now I am afraid that I might forget, because of we have got opportunity to enjoy this material world. So please, my Lord, please bring back all those sufferings, so that we can constantly be in that position of like taking shelter of your lotus feet. So that is the prayer which Kunti Maharani also offers. So if we come across like we are in the movement of Srila Prabhupada, which is the Sankirtan movement, which was inaugurated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself 400 years before, and he says he gives us this instruction in the final chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he gives the Shikshashtaka, and then where we also pray Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagati Sakamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhagavatat Bhaktir Haitu Hitvai. So which means like we, as a parampara, it is our in our daily day-to-day activity also, we also follow in the footsteps of following in the footsteps of Dhruva Maharaja, following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, and following the footsteps of Kunti Maharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We also offer the same prayer day in and day out. Chakshuda and Diloje Janme Janme Prabhu say we don't even want liberation. According to Mayavadis, liberation is considered to be the topmost achievement in this of the goal of life. So, but devotees consider, like even the demons who are killed by Krishna, they achieve the liberation in Brahmajyoti. So they consider like in one sense, like we can compare like Mayavadis as like is equal to demons, because they are offending the Supreme Lord by rejecting his personal feature, so rejecting his form. So devotee is considered like hell is better place than attaining a personal liberation. So in that way, we don't pay too much like respect to even impersonal liberation. But what we are paying attention to is devotional service. So here, Dhruva Maharaj also, with the same consciousness, he is also asking for the boon so that he won't be like disturbed in his devotional service, and he want to remember the Supreme Lord. So he prays to Kuvera and asking for remembrance of the Supreme Lord, so that he can constantly engage in devotional service. And let's take about the boon, right? Like remembering Krishna. What do we mean by remembering Krishna? So Prabhupada says remembering Krishna means chanting Hare Krishna. And in another sense, remembering Krishna means remembering the philosophy of Krishna consciousness also, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and I am his part and parcel, and it is my constitutional position and duty to serve, be his servant, to act in the platform of a servant. So remembering Krishna means also remembering the philosophy of Krishna consciousness and acting in the platform of Krishna consciousness also. So if we see, like, until unless we like last week, a few days before, we have Radhika Kripa Mataji here. She was saying this beautiful point, like when she met His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, like in her back of the book, she read out, "May you be blessed with. I wish that you will be able to make many more pure devotees through your preaching." So, which means like that is the benediction which she received from the spiritual from the spiritual masters. And then I was thinking through, what is that that is a wonderful benediction that we can also aspire for. So when we come into Krishna consciousness, we were taught about chanting Hare Krishna, following 4 regulative principles, and then no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, gambling. So these are the 4 regulative principles which we were taught, and then we start practicing. But there is another 4 regulative principles which we mainly forget to practice, which is Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sagishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. So which means, so in fact we are supposed to follow the 8 regulative principles in another sense, which means until unless we follow this the second, 4 regulative principles, we won't be able to perfect the first 4 regulative principles also. There's no point in following that. So because we are not making any progress, the ultimate, if we want to make progress even in our bhakti, we have to follow the second 4 regulative principles of not expecting any respect, giving all respect to others, being tolerant, and then Kirtaniya Sadahari, chanting Hare Krishna continuously. So similarly, like we should consciously endeavor to like cultivate this habit of following the second, 4th regulative principles, so that we can also practice bhakti without any deviation. And if at all we want to like aspire anything to achieve in the spiritual life, like one thing which we can aspire is preaching. So preaching as a ISKCON is a Sankirtan movement, which is a preaching movement. So every devotee is a preacher, and we need to preach this message of Krishna consciousness. And we want to convert non-devotees into devotees and devotees into preachers, so that eventually they will also convert non-devotees into devotees, and they will also bring more devotees. So if at all we want to want any benediction from our spiritual masters or the saintly personalities or the Supreme Lord, we should aim for the empowerment to preach and empowerment to distribute the message of Krishna consciousness to others as well, following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. who wanted to deliver all the fallen conditioned souls within this material world. So I was also thinking through how come like Dhruva Maharaja was asking a benediction from Kuvera, which is like Dhruva Maharaja is already pure devotee, and he has already received the benediction from the Supreme Lord that you won't you will receive you will never be deviated um, from my consciousness, like from Krishna consciousness, from the Supreme Lord himself. And then still he is again asking the benediction from Kuvera himself, who is less advanced than even Dhruva Maharaja. So how can we understand this? Like I was thinking through that, like just like a banker, like he himself doesn't have millions of dollars, but if someone comes and asks, I want $1 million loan, then what he does, he has access to the bank, the money that belongs to the bank, and then he gives loan to the person who approaches him. Similarly, we can understand, like although he himself may not have the may not be qualified to provide devotion, being assigned to the assigned as a universal like minister of finance minister, still he has access to the boon that can be boon of getting unflinching like meditation on the Supreme Lord. Yeah, I would like to end here. Like any comments or feedbacks? Okay. Oh. Yes, Mother. Acharya. So, like the first guru is like a Vartama Pratakshaka guru who gives us the direction. So that is called and the guru which who actually gives the mantra, we call them as the Diksha Guru, who actually connects us to the Parampara. And then in ISKCON we have everyone as a guru actually. Everyone gives us instruction, but one who gives the like gives us the Harinam Diksha, they are called as the spiritual masters, like Diksha Gurus, and everyone else is a Shiksha Guru Mataji. Karmis actually they seek for proprietorship. Jnanis they seek for enjoyership. Karmis, Jnanis and Yogis, Karmis they seek for proprietorship. They want to accumulate like own, they want to own more property, more wealth. But Jnanis they want to gain popularity, so they want enjoyership. Like they want to accumulate more knowledge. So they. So their idea of detachment from this material world is because they see that there are so many sufferings in this material world, so they don't want to suffer. Their main idea is they want to get rid of the suffering from the material world. In that way, they want to have perpetual enjoyment. If they attain the Brahmajyoti, there is Brahmananda, so I can eternally like blissful there. So I don't need to go through the cycle of birth and death within this material world. In that way, they also seek enjoyship by trying to avoid the like material enjoyment. So, yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai.